Joining us now, Sahar Aziz. She is a professor of law and director of the Center for Security, Race, and Rights at Rutgers University. Let's talk about these two candidates because they have very distinctive approaches. Of course, Donald Trump, again, saying he's promising even more restrictions on people entering the United States if he gets a second term. Kind of outline what we can expect from a second Trump administration.
Well, we will get more of the same. And so what is the same? What Trump has shown is he has a very strong anti-immigrant policy on multiple grounds, or in multiple ways. Stephen Miller is his primary advisor that is implementing this anti-immigrant policy, particularly against immigrants from non-European countries. And so what we've seen is we saw the Muslim ban that was a very naked and clear bar on Muslims from coming to the United States. And even though it was limited to 7 countries, it was very clear, and the courts, at least the lower courts and the appellate courts, recognized it was based on religious animus. And effectively, from people from those countries, Yemen, Syria, Iran, Somalia, Chad, Nigeria, Libya, they cannot come to this country legally, with some exceptions depending on the country. We also saw the family separation and the policies at the border, where Trump, not only does he want to build a wall, which is disputable as to whether it would actually keep unlawful immigrants from coming, but he has also weaponized family separation as a means to deter asylum seekers from Central America and Guatemala and Honduras from coming seeking political refugee status. And 2,500 children were separated from their families, and these are children that are as young as a few months, below the age of 5, below the age of 10. There's a very cruel policy, and but for the courts and but for the protests, they would still be separated, and we would have even more. And then finally, he has limited legal immigration. So 1.1 million people immigrated to the United States legally through the family-based immigration system, which means that the U.S. citizen or the legal permanent resident sponsors a sister, a brother, a spouse, a child to come to the U.S. 1.1 million came that way in 2016. By 2021, next year, there will only be 600,000 people that will come. That's a 49% decrease.
Yeah, that's big. Sahar, give us a sense of how a Biden administration might be different. And then also, if you will, give us your sense of how the Latino vote will break down this evening as we watch that key demographic, because they've been talking about perhaps it's soft for Biden.
Well, Biden has a very extensive plan on his website about what he's going to do different on immigration, and it's the polar opposite of what Trump has done, insofar as he's going to repeal all of the executive decrees or the executive orders that Trump has issued, which includes repealing the Muslim ban, which includes repealing a recent order that if you are going to be a public charge, then you cannot get a green card or permanent resident. So in other words, if the government determines that you might need food stamps or you might need public housing assistance in the future, just that possibility bars you from getting a visa, a green card that is sponsored by your family. So the court has now, there's a stay on that right now, but that executive order has been issued. Biden is also going to try, I don't know if he'll succeed because he needs congressional support, so a lot of it's going to depend on whether the the Senate flips to blue, but he wants a massive immigration reform bill that's been in the works for many years, but it hasn't been successful. He also wants to renew DACA, the so-called, also known as the Dreamers, so that people who came here when they were children, where their parents brought them here and they were undocumented at the time, have a chance, a pathway to citizenship. Another policy that Obama had issued that executive order, and then Trump repealed it, and then it got caught in the court system, and thus far the DACAs are still protected, but they're very much at risk. Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of that reversal, which is going to be much more pro-immigrant, and it's going to increase the number of refugees, it's going to increase the number of legal immigrants that can come, but that's pretty much going to be he's going to be the polar opposite, I think, on immigration.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We'll have to wait and see what happens tonight, but Sahar, thank you for your analysis, really appreciate it.